Hello everybody and welcome to episode 89 of the Chesterfield of Dreams. Apologies for the buzzing in the background, that's just my computer seemingly acting up a little bit, but it's absolutely fine otherwise. But never mind that, it's time to talk about Chesterfield heading into the transfer window deadline day. I'm not going to do any live comms today, I'm not really too mad about it, but I'd just like to instead take your time and describe how we're doing this season, a bit more in-depth analysis. Beginning with the league table, of course, the most important thing, we are 7th in the league with 12 wins, 3 draws and 9 defeats. We're among the top scorers in the league with 48 goals, but our defensive record is still pretty poor for a team this high in the table, but the goal difference is alright. We're a point away from guaranteed survival, but unfortunately we're kind of losing track to the likes of Newcastle, Liverpool and Swansea due to a few mixed results here and there. Manchester City are in all probability going to overtake us in a matter of days as they have 2 games in hand, but the likes of Leeds, Derby, Hull, Everton and Huddersfield will be nervous about the next few months. They want to hang on to their Premiership their Premiership status. The schedule looks like this. We last met for the was it this Middlesbrough game? I think it was anyway. I think it was. It's been a little while. So we won that 3-1, a great result. It was Henrik Goulden on a brace and Mark Davies assuring the result. But then Manchester United gave us a real arse kicking, as they usually do. Rasmus Stephenson didn't help things by getting himself red carded in a bout of fury, but there's not much I could really do. He was a few minutes away from the 60-minute window when I usually make my substitutes. But Januzaj and Lukaku just love tearing my team apart, and they're going to be doing that for another few years yet. Good news in the FA Cup, we were covered to beat Stoke City in the 3rd round. It was imperative that we got through this, but unfortunately Tom Bertram was hurt and he's only just coming back from injury now with a twisted ankle. Bad timing to say the least, but Ashley Watson scored a great goal to ensure our FA Cup defence isn't the worst of the worst. A bad draw against Everton. I think we should have won this. Alejandro Pinillos gave us a good goal just for half time. We didn't kick on, and Sergei Gnabry was able to equalise, but thankfully we didn't lose. We really needed something out of that game. Pardon the Facebook. Leeds beat us. Our Leeds were beaten 4-1 comprehensively. I was really pleased with this one. Ashley Watson again scoring a goal, but off the bench came Thomas Forza, made a really dominant performance, but Jack Dunphy got one back for Leeds United. And then a really bad draw yet again, Merseyside proving a difficult opposition. We got an early goal through Tomas Forza, who earned his place in the starting 11, but despite Liverpool suffering all game, we just couldn't get a second goal, and Kevin Volland was able to secure an equaliser for them, so that would have been so important in the lead up to the the January period. We really should have won that game, could have gotten the top 4. But then our luck was in our favour this time, as we got a late drama penalty. Jairo Mesa wasn't a starter in this one, but he came off the bench and made the captain's contribution with the 91st minute penalty. And then we gave West Brom a really good thrashing in the FA Cup 4th round, with Goulden, Mesa and Brian Boring all scoring. And then we had our unbeaten run broken just by the end of the month. A very busy period, and we've done quite well to survive that long without losing. But Luis Suarez quickly in the second half, out of the run of play, got the only goal of the game. So the next 5 fixtures to look forward to will be Huddersfield away, QPR at home, Swansea and Watford away, with the Hornets game being in the FA Cup 5th round, and then my live com for the first time in the Europa League will be against Celtic. So we really want to get through that tie if we can, but we'll look at the FA Cup for you here and now. The likes of Arsenal and Chelsea will be going head to head. I wouldn't want to play Chelsea again, to be honest. They were very tough opponents in the last semi-final. Newcastle, the beaten finalists, still in it. Everton still in it. Man United, Liverpool going head to head. Tottenham trying to revive their fortunes, still sort of wavering away in the Championship. And then we have a few unlikely teams like Ipswich, Derby, still burning in a replay there, and so on and so forth. So we hope to reach the FA Cup last four again if possible. And then we have difficult assignments with Leicester, Manchester City, Arsenal, Derby and Everton. That's what's coming up, but we will be live coming the two games against Celtic. The draw looks like this in case I haven't shown you. We will be playing Chelsea if we win this game and they beat Dynamo. You've got some other good teams in here like Bayern Munich, Besiktas, Arsenal, Genoa, the former champions of Europe, Juventus and Atletico Madrid, Zenit, Lyon are here, and Galatasaray, Shakhtar and Barcelona as well. So lots and lots of quality in this secondary tournament that we have to be aware of if we're still in the tournament. Now to check out the squad details. I did make one signing, sort of a glamour signing has to be said, in exchange for a player I sold. So let's just take a look at that now. I decided enough was enough for Ruben Loftus-Cheek. He's going to Leicester City, and wish him well, but it's not looking too promising thus far. And then the player I sold for a profit is Alejandro Pinillos. He wanted away from the club, but I convinced him to stay. But then Roma tabled a good offer for me. I decided I wanted 10 million without installments, and then there were a few extra offers as well. So he was a great player, but I just didn't think his injury record was good enough to stay. He's yet to start for the Roma side, but you can see his injury record was pretty bad. I did want to revive his career where possible, but he just wasn't reliable enough, even though his flexibility on the wings was very, very important. So the player I nominated to replace him was a player that has been tracked by the club for a long time, but I never decided to table a bid. His name is Godwin Azuka from Nigeria, and thank God he passed his work permit application. I would have been fuming if he didn't make it, but he made his debut against Chelsea. Cannot play on the right hand side, he's purely left hand sided player, but reasonable enough debut against the Blues, but he'll have to pick up his form if he's going to be starting regularly with Henrik Gulden in the form he is. But it is a risk. I have Kinsella, Bertram and Mayo who can play on the right hand side, whereas Godwin Azuka is only two natural left wing players I have. Stephen Kinsella can play in the left wing as well, but I don't think he's natural enough there, and we'll see how he gets on in future. But now we're just going to check out the finances. Of course I spent a bit of money, so we're down to 65 million, but we're expected to earn more before season's end. Now let's finally check out these stats for the season. The most played player is actually Ronnie Pinho. He's been a very hard player to drop. He's been very, very good, and his stock continues to rise. He's had a great season with a 7.18 average rating. Linus Muller in second place here with 22 starts but no substitute appearances, so for the goalkeeper it's to be expected to have to sit on the bench all game, but he's had a good season, conceding 33 goals in the league and 34 overall. He's only played one cup game I presume, but it's been a tough season for our defence, but we're doing okay. Henrik Gulden, fantastic as well from him. He's starting to get on a bit, but his quality has shone through all season long. He's really starting to find his form with the goals. He's now got 7 for himself, which is great. Yara Mesa hasn't had such a prolific season, but he's getting there. Just 7 league goals, but 13 in all competitions. He's still great on the average rating. So consistent is this kid, and I can't wait to see how he continues to mature, but he really will want to get more goals. Jamal Hoogland, good signing I believe, now that he's in here instead of Donovan Daniels. 7.9 average rating for his appearances, mostly in the league, but he's played in the cup as well. But it's definitely been a good season for him, especially with the defensive positions being so competitive. Frank Reeves, not so good this season, but I think he can be forgiven for that. But unfortunately he hasn't played so many league games due to injury and rotation. And then we'll scroll down to the bottom and you can decide whatever players you want to see here. I have no shortage of them, but the only one he hasn't played is Julian Fowler. He's the 4th choice goalkeeper, but Neil Smulder's not really getting his chances either. Moving on to the goals front, no surprise to see Mesa on the top again. Henrik Goulden second. Tomas Forza rarely seems to have a great season from beginning to end. You can see last season was very poor, but he did score twice in the FA Cup final to win us the tournament in the first place. He's been more generous with assists and all that this year, so that's something. But I just really wish he could get back to his form from 2 seasons ago, where he bagged 13 league goals and gave us Champions League football. 4th on the list is a tie really between Tom Bertram. Again, he's having a great season, but he's been hurt by injuries, and you'll really want to see more of him on the pitch. And Stephen Kinsella as well on the 2 wings. He's doing great, and he's still only 27, and he could yet reach the testimonial age. I have no plans of letting this boy go until the end of his career, or unless we find some really good talent. Callum Cook yet again cannot score. Well, he did score once in the league, but in general he's resorting to goals in other competitions. And then Brian Boring, Ronnie Pignot, Dial Fry, Ashley Watson, Mark Davies, Mohamed Adul, Raheem Ahmed having a terrible season. Just 2 goals in the league. I don't know what's wrong with him now, but he will have to buck up his ideas. He's not been good enough, and he may have to go if he doesn't improve. Michael Henning as well, not having a good season. 2 strikers misfiring. To be honest, that's the real problem. And Mark Davies is still only young, so you can't really blame him. Sean Kavanagh, Rasmus Stephenson, Anthony Syra, also with 1 goal. The assistants, Brian Boring has 6, Henrik Goulden 5. Look at Boring actually if you want. He's still only 22. Lots more talent in that tank, but it doesn't really. He hasn't played too often. It's been very tough to get him a consistent starting place. But when he's played, he's been superb, and I just hope we can continue to rotate all our midfielders. Tom Bertram the third. Ahmed has been good with assists, but it doesn't really matter if you're a striker. You need to be scoring the goals. And Ronnie Pignot's the last player at 4 assists or more. And then Brian Lenihan's the last player with an assist. Man of the match awards have been quite spread out, with Goulden, Bertram, Mesa, Pignot, Cook and Watson all having 2. I really want to get Watson off Tottenham's hands as soon as possible. His contract still it won't expire until the summer. The yellow cards, Hoogland has 6, Frank Reeves has 5, Stephenson has 4, and then the players have been sent off: Reeves, Stephenson, Kavanagh and Graushoff. The average rating table looks as follows: Mesa, Fry, we'll look at Fry for you if you want. He has he hasn't really been a number 1 choice. He'd be my 4th choice defender, but when he plays he's also very good, and he's still got a few years left in him at 28. Then we've got Boring on 7.20, Goulden same result. Bembo Letta doesn't get a lot of credit, but he's now my number 1 left back, and he's proving his worth. 7.09 average rating, 7.11 in all competitions, and Callum Cook's the last player with 7.01, and everyone else is below the 7 cut-off point. Francesc Kubat will be forgiven. He hasn't had a lot of game time due to the long-term injury, the double hernia. 7 weeks plus however long it takes him to become fit again. That's how I judge injuries. And then the worst performing players all season, Paul Graushoff. I want to get him out of the club, but no one wants to buy him. But it looks like there's interest from Derby. I just don't want to I just want to sell him as quickly as I can. It doesn't seem anyone wants to give him a contract. Godwin Azuka, will forgive him. Lewis Mayo's sort of similar deal. We'll forgive him for low average performances. Marcel Phillips, a little cruel to be just giving him 6.76. He's played well when necessary. He's kept 1 clean sheet in the Cup and 1 in Europe, which is not great, but it could be better. Rasmus Stephenson's star is kind of declining now. He's been so good in the last 3 seasons, but this time he hasn't been so good. He's not worthy of a starting place week in, week out. Sean Kavanagh obviously getting old now. He's only got a few seasons left, maybe even just the 1. and Brian Lenihan as well, not my number one starter again. He's only played 6 league games, but he's been great in all of them, but it's just every other competition seems to be letting him down. And David Shanahan, of course, he's now the number one right back. He's got interest from Newcastle, but I'm not going to entertain those whatsoever. He is here to stay. If anyone wanted him, they should have bid the 2.5 million or more to take him off Chelsea's hands. So tough luck to the managers who weren't so wily. And that's pretty much everything needs to be shown. My facilities were actually upgraded again. The board did this one themselves, and the glitch was not prevalent this time, so we actually have 16 out of 20 facilities, which is fair dues in my book, but I don't have any other plans as of yet to expand any other facilities. We'll just try and keep ourselves in the top 7 of the league where possible and see how things go, but we'll be back for the for the Europa League playoff against Celtic in the away leg coming up first. And anything else you want to know, including the plans for FM16, you can just ask me in the comments section below. And until next time, we'll see you again soon. Bye.